All right, and we're back for another episode of the Sports Department Podcast with Justin Valentovic, Stephen Clarke, and Stephen Bologna. And in this episode, we're going to take a look at the previous two wildcard games, both the AL and the NL, which saw the Yankees and Cardinals packing their bags and hitting the links in the winter for some early golf. But we'll talk about those games, and we'll get into the division series, which the AL for both series between the Red Sox and Rays are underway, as well as the White Sox and the Astros. And then we still have the Giants, Dodgers, and Braves, Brewers to talk about. So we'll get into those games and everything else. So, guys, what's going
on?
Go ahead, I joined you guys. I mean, I'm a part of the losers now.
Yeah, welcome to the losers club, baby. Not fun, huh?
For a while, it was looking like Clark was going to be on top in the winners club, and
I know.
Now we're on. Now all three of us. I know Justin's happy that his team had 55 wins, but
52.
Hey, the Orioles spent more days in first place than the Yankees did this year.
All 8 of them, baby.
and yeah.
So let's just start off with the AL wildcard game real quick before we get into the divisional series. And that is, surprisingly, the Yankees got their bags sent home by the Boston Red Sox.
He's trying so hard not to crack a smile. He's trying so hard. Look at it. He cracked it. He cracked it. There it is.
Biggest takeaways from the game: Kyle Schwarber owns Garrett Cole in the postseason, and Garrett Cole didn't have his best stuff. Basically, as simple as that.
Yeah, nope. He got exposed, which is not good at all. The Yankees they looked flat. They did not look the part. You could say, obviously, that it would be different if it was in Yankee Stadium, just the vibe and stuff like that.
Stanton has 3 home runs if they're in Yankee Stadium.
Yeah.
when he got the single off that first one, I felt like that was like, wow, that was the chance to take.
That's kind of where we're going at this point.
Yeah. And it's like, fuck.
Between the combination of Cole not having his best stuff, only going 2 innings and getting into trouble in the third, Phil Nevin just having a brain seizure at third base and sending Aaron Judge trying to go first to home on a shot off the wall, which, misplayed first by Kike Hernandez, and fantastic relay in from Hernandez to Bogarts to Paolantonio, of all people, at home plate playing catcher that night for the Red Sox. And also just the Yankees at bats were just non-competitive. They were whiffing and getting behind in a lot of counts. And, the major thing with the Red Sox is they were patient, got ahead in hitters counts, and took advantage of what Cole was throwing.
Yeah. It's just, now the question just becomes, who is the manager at the start of next season? My gut tells me, or my brain tells me, I want them to fire Boone. My gut tells me they will keep him around.
I think they're gonna bring him back, if we're being
honest. Bring him back, I think too. Yeah, it's not.
I feel like it would have happened already if they.
Well, they didn't he doesn't have a contract. Like, he is essentially a free agent, so they can fire him in the way they fired Joe Girardi and just not bring him back and offer a contract. Now, if he were to bring back, I think the entire staff should be redone from the ground up. Phil Nevin being the major scapegoat, of course, because if they score there, or if he at least holds them, it's second and third, 1 out, and you can have, you can do some damage there, but that changed the whole momentum of the game. So will he be on the chopping block? Probably. But at the same time, if you tear down and bring in a whole new general manager, a whole coaching staff, at that point, you got to just kind of redo the whole team, because this team is not working. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. I mean, again, I know we say this every year, but this team, I personally feel like it's a few pieces away. If you get another,
but what else is there to add? That's the thing.
Center field, they've been rolling out 2 freaking pterodactyls and Aaron Hicks and
Brett Gardner.
Brett Gardner. I mean, you can't roll out a 38-year-old Brett Gardner in the wild card game. Catcher is a big need. I mean,
and that's
Higashioka didn't even
the fact
swing at a pitch in the zone.
Well, they carried 3 catchers, right? So the second they took out Cole, Higashioka should have gotten the boot with him, and Gary should have been getting those at bats. And if you really wanted a defensive catcher, they had a third one. I'm forgetting the name, but he should have then went in when Gary was done batting for the game.
Oh, Rob Bryant.
Yeah, but still, they never get the fact that they didn't give Gary an at bat. I think he's the first to go, potentially. The ones who are staying are going to be Judge, Stanton, DJ, and Cole.
Yeah.
And Cole. I even think you try to move Gallo, because he really did nothing as a Yankee.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a little scary. I think Glaber looks very comfortable at second base.
Well, yeah, that's where he had his best offensive season, and that's better where he is.
I think the Yankees do throw the house at
a shortstop.
And I saw that the Phillies may be letting go of Gregorius, and I could see Cashman just jumping all over that and bringing him back.
Bringing him back.
Gio is a good third baseman. You wanted to try and re-sign Rizzo, but I could see him going for the ring again and chasing the money.
One's got to go, either Voit or Rizzo. You can't have both. I think both, as that.
And you want to keep Rizzo too. I think Rizzo just, as soon as he came in, at
changed
the
the culture.
deadline, just literally, all those home runs he had and all that stuff. But I want to talk about the other side. Nate Eovaldi looked really, really good. He looks like he can be there going forward. Yeah, no, definitely. He looked great. The bats looked okay. I mean, Garrett Cole, like we talked about, got roughed up a little bit, which isn't too nice to see if you're a Yankees fan. But the bats were there. I mean, they're gonna be in a tough series right now against Tampa. I know they're getting their
they're already done.
Right now. Yeah, no, it's probably done in 3 or 4 games.
Hey, but they did the job. That's all that matters.
They did the job.
Not making the World Series?
No, taking out the Yankees. Yeah. As happy as I am.
Best part about Justin. Says Yankees are a failure for not making the World Series.
They are.
Red Sox don't make it. Oh, what an incredible season. They did such great things.
See,
I know they didn't make the World Series, but
I'm on both of your sides.
Here's the thing. Boston has to be competitive. If they go and get the floor swept, like if Tampa goes and just mops the floor with them and sweeps them in 3, then yeah, it was a disaster. If it goes 5 and they barely lose, tough loss, but
not even. You can go back to our preseason predictions podcast and all that. I'm pretty sure almost everybody here had the Yankees winning the division or whatever, and not a single soul, either the Yankees or the Rays, not a single soul had the Boston Red Sox winning the division, hence even going to the playoffs, making the wild card, whatever. So it is well, I said wild card. So it is an accomplishment for the Red Sox, to make the playoffs and get a win in the playoffs and all that. And it is an accomplishment for the Yankees to still make the playoffs as the comeback that they had, but it is still a disappointment because the Yankees have been so close over the last 5 years.
That's the thing. I said it perfectly in a text where each team has expectations, right, for each season. If you make it into the playoffs, those expectations should then change, which should be, okay, you're good enough to make the playoffs. Anything short of a World Series then was a failure in the playoffs. The Orioles, their goal is just suck and build a team for the future. A team like the Giants, who were supposed to fall apart, are 107 wins in, the number 1 seed all throughout baseball.
Way above expectations.
But now at this point,
successive season.
But that's the thing. They've shown in the regular season they're good enough to win a World Series. Now, go out and do it. If they fall short, just go do it. It's as simple as that. So, any last thoughts on the AL wildcard game before we shift gears?
Boone got to be gone. That's it. We touched on it earlier.
Boone's
got to be gone, but I don't think he will be. I'm with Steve. I don't think he's going to be gone.
So let's switch things over to the NL wildcard game, which saw the mighty Dodgers taking on the Cardinals in a very tense, very long, very slow, very drawn out wildcard game that ended right around 12:30 Eastern Standard Time with a loud swing of the bat by Chris Taylor, walking it off with a 2-run shot in the 9th. Was it the 9th? It didn't go extras. Yep. It was the 9th to send them to the division series. This is what everyone kind of wanted the AL wildcard to look like, but hats off to the Dodgers. The Cardinals, were barely going to make the playoffs, rattled off 16, 17 games in a row, got to the postseason and hung as well as you thought they could.
Oh
dear God. Is Russell Wilson hurt?
Yeah, he bent his fingers all like messed up. And
Aaron Donald backwards. Bent his finger. Yeah.
Yeah.
only 11 points for him for J-Val.
Ooh, looks like no one's going to go undefeated this year. Maybe look at that.
There goes my fantasy quarterback. I only have Mac Jones as a backup.
Jalen Hurts, talk trade.
Okay, we'll do that.
Justin Fields, talk trade. We're here to talk baseball. Dodgers. Yeah, there's not much to talk about this game except for obviously the Chris Taylor home run, which was awesome.
Cardinals played as tough as they could. They literally held on LA as long as possible.
In LA, I mean, Scherzer was pissed when he got taken out. What are you going to do? It's the nature.
But it worked.
It worked in the end.
And Wainwright literally looked like his 2006 self, striking out Beltran to end the good old Mets postseason run then. But, they're coming back one more year. Him and Yachty are retiring at the end of next season, and he looked good at least. But at the end of the day, just tough luck for the Cardinals. And
I don't know if I'm on this. I'm wrong here. Yachty's not good anymore. Like, he's not a good player anymore.
No, his strongest suit of defense is he's struggling to get to balls.
Yeah.
To block balls in the dirt.
God, Justin corrected himself there.
Hey, man.
No, he's clearly a 40-year-old catcher.
And if we're talking about players not living up to their expectations, Nolan Arenado 0 for 5 in this game. A couple times the runners in scoring position. Can't happen.
Well, that's the thing. They scored first in the first inning and then nothing. So
Wainwright pitched great.
No, Wainwright was great.
Yeah.
Their starting shortstop had a rough night for a while. I'm forgetting Rojas, I think his name was. All three of their outfielders all do the same thing of fast, speed, power, and defense. So Carlson, O'Neill, and Bader are fine. It's just, Arenado not really doing anything, and that's what you trade for him to go do. Goldschmidt had a better game.
Yeah.
No. He struck out a few times too, but Dodgers move on. So that's really all we can say about that one. So let's keep it with the Dodgers and talk about the first round in the division series, which for the first time in both franchises' histories, which is an amazing thing to think of because they're well over 100 years old, I feel like, they're playing each other. The Dodgers and the Giants are meeting in the postseason for the very first time in anyone's lifetime. The Giants barely eked out the division, one win, 107 to 106, and this is the matchup everyone was looking for.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be one of the better DS matchups that we've seen in recent memory, I would say. It's just, I know the Dodgers and all that. The Giants, the number one seed, all that, the miracle year that they have trading for Chris Bryant, pretty fair, fun year if you're a Giants fan. I mean, not too much to be disappointed about, but this is the time that they're going to be disappointed.
And hey, if they just push it to 5, that's all you can ask for. Just don't go out there and get swept. But also at the same time, if they make the championship series, I could see them making a realistic shot at re-signing Bryant then at that point.
Definitely. He's probably going to want to re-sign too because, he's been...
The move worked out for them. It got them to the postseason and secured the division. So that move paid out and worked out for him.
But I don't see him getting past the Dodgers are too good for me.
Their bullpen, we saw it last night. I was texting Bologna about it. When they pulled Scherzer, they have 5 former closers, it seems, to just go to and shut everyone down. Knebel, Jansen, Trinan. It's just like one after another. Joe Kelly, Julio Urias. They have Brusdar Graterol just locked down arms in every which way.
Yeah. Again, I think the series goes 5, just because I think the Giants are a scrappy team that they're going to make it interesting. Chris Bryant, he's going to have a decision. I think Bryant probably understands that this might be a little bit of a fluke year. Just looking at the roster and just the sheer age of it.
That's what we've been saying all year. We've been saying that all season, essentially.
Yeah, but now, you got to face the Dodgers in prime time. And the Dodgers are just so stacked. I just don't know how they're going to lose. First base position is going to kind of hurt them a bit. Will Beatty or Matt Beatty playing first? But I think the Dodgers win this series in 5, and it's just going to be an all-time classic. 2 of the oldest organizations in baseball going at it, so it'll be fun.
So your final prediction is Dodgers in 5?
Yeah.
Clark, what are you saying? What do you
Dodgers in 4?
4? I'm going to go.
Oh.
I'm going to go Giants in 5. I say it's a home series.
Jack's getting his head there.
Yeah, I know. Good old Jack. Hopefully they don't win, but I think the Giants somehow go on a little bit of a run, but I don't think they make the World Series. So let's talk about the NL division series. The other one, Clark's favorite team, the Atlanta Braves, taking on the Milwaukee Brewers, and somehow, some way, the Braves, won the division. And we talked about that too. The Mets choked it royally, and they somehow
the Roman Coliseum, they collapsed.
Damn right we did.
And the Brewers, without their former NL MVP, essentially, because Yelich basically offered next to nothing this entire season, but with one of the best pitching staff in baseball, won the Central, and they are hosting the Braves for a division series matchup that has making to be a pretty good series for a baseball fan, at least. On the surface, it could be rather boring since the Brewers just have so much pitching and in theory, you would think the Braves won't have that much offense, but it'll be interesting to see.
I feel like this is the same team just going up against each other. Again, like you said, Justin, great pitching against a great offense. The Braves had 4 all-star infielders this season. I didn't realize it. Austin Riley, 300 plus average, 30 plus homers, 80
over
plus
100
RBIs.
Yeah,
whatever it was.
He had an awesome season.
Swanson, Albies, Freeman, they got Adam Duvall, who's a career resurgence this year. So
After letting him walk to the Miami, Duvall put up like 40 home runs without anyone noticing, basically.
Yeah, and 100, like 10 RBIs. Charlie Morton's having a great season. Ian Anderson, Drew Smiley, who's drawing a blank on the other pitcher, but it's going to be a great series. I honestly don't know who to go.
The thing though,
who's home? The Brewers, right?
Yeah, Brewers have
what'll be the deciding factor to me is who has a better back end of the bullpen, and it's basically going to be Josh Hader if they had Devin Williams, if he didn't in a drunken rage celebrating punch something and break his hand essentially.
Something you would do.
It's something I've done on this very podcast, but not just break my hand.
You're right.
But it's essentially just going to be Will Smith versus Josh Hader, and at that point, give me Josh Hader, and I really think the Brewers are going to walk away winning the series 4-1. In 4 games.
Give me the Brew Crew just because of that insane pitching. I feel like pitching is so
They have 3 Cy Young winners potentially on the staff alone.
Especially in like a 5-game series like this where you could win the first 3 with those pitchers. I mean, it's just pitching is so important in the playoffs. It's one of the most important things.
Well, look that's how the Dodgers are built. You know, they have a billion arms, and so do the Brewers.
Wouldn't be surprised if the Brewers, it'd be a fun championship series between them and whoever, but no, I'm going with the Brew Crew. I'm going to go with them, and I'm going to go with 4 again. I think 4 is the right number. I mean,
and especially if Yelich wakes up, anything.
Something, yeah.
I'm going with the Brew Crew here. The pitching's so important. Corbin Burns is just unstoppable, and if they can get if they can win Game 1 tomorrow, I think that just puts them over the edge. At home, Game 2 at home, if you win that. So it'll be a good series, but give me the Brewers in 4.
All right, cool. So we're going to talk about the AL games, which are underway already. So we're not doing a full series preview because we obviously have one game to talk about. And in the Houston White Sox series in Game 1, Houston went out there and smoked the White Sox 6-1 in a very non-competitive game. Houston got out early and just held the lead. Lance Lynn kind of fell apart, really, and just couldn't really capture the regular season magic he had. So that really puts the White Sox behind the 8 ball, down 1-0 to the Astros.
Jesse Norman, quiet throughout the entire
Jesse
game.
Norman probably doesn't even know the games are going on.
He has no idea.
So much shit throughout the entire season.
I even forgot. Like, Clark, if I didn't see your snap, like I was literally like, oh, snap. I was like, oh shit. And I put it on.
The game's on.
Also, Fox, very nice score bug for the playoffs. Nice. Have you seen it, Steve?
I have not.
Beautiful.
Well, turn on your TV and look. But it's very nice. It's like a 3D. I was gonna take a picture of it off of my TV, but it's a commercial.
Just send me a picture off your TV.
Yeah, it's a commercial. Just gonna try that.
I'll tell him to get out of commercial.
Okay.
You got some pull now in the media world.
Yeah. Now Astros looked great. I mean, they look like they haven't skipped top to bottom. They looked awesome. And basically Lance Lynn looked not like a true ace. I know Steve said that best. I mean, he said that earlier.
I only said that because Jesse called
he's right.
True ace.
You're right though.
He was an ace that failed, but also Lance Lynn fell apart too.
They both fell apart.
But this is where the regular season it doesn't matter once you get to the postseason.
Yeah, no. And the Astros look as strong as ever, cheating or not. I know they're not cheating anymore, but top to bottom, they have a great bunch of hitters. There's a bunch of good hitters in that lineup. Everyone's
just productive. And it's like, oh, George Springer's gone. Yeah, they haven't skipped the beat. If anything, they have more production out of him and Kyle Tucker and Michael Brantley and Miles Straw and whoever they have playing center field. So it's
the rookie kid who had like 2 hits and it got the first RBI, whatever, Jake Myers or whatever.
Yeah,
that random kid. No, they look good. They look like a World Series contender to me in this game because the Sox are a good team, but they just put them down basically in Game 1.
So does this basically? Are you calling the series then, Clark?
Astros in 3.
Ooh, you're calling a sweep.
I think the White Sox steal the first game back at home.
So
I think since 4.
So at that point, you would have it go 2-1.
Yeah.
So you think they'll? Okay, so you have the Astros winning then, or the White Sox?
Wait. Because isn't it just a 5 or 3?
5. It's 2-2-1, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I have Astros first 2 games, White Sox back at home first win. Right to the White Sox? Yeah, the Astros were home today, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the Astros win Game 4.
So Astros in 4.
So Astros in 4. Yeah.
Yeah. I said it just
making it so complicated for no reason.
I agree with Bologna. It's going to be Astros in 4 as well, just because
Wait, so they would win?
they would win a game. I think it's tied going. I think they lose both games in Chicago, which would be utterly depressing and disappointing for poor old Jesse. But let's talk about the last. He doesn't. He just remember when he's like, "What baseball team should I get? Should I like?" He's like, "What's a young team that could win, but if they win, I'm not really a bandwagon." We're like,
Should have told him the Diamondbacks.
The Orioles.
yeah, you're like, God, they suck. Yeah, no, so that's who he's a White Sox fan, basically. But we'll talk about the last division series matchup, and that is Tampa Bay and Boston. As of right now, Tampa Bay is up 5-0 on Boston.
They had another one? Oh, wow.
Rosarena is still home.
Yeah, he's
AL Rookie of the Year, baby.
Nope.
Hey,
if anything,
it
should be Wander Franco, but Ryan Mount.
And then a Rosarena, yeah.
Yeah, okay. But Tampa Bay is just that damn good, it seems. And are you giving Boston a chance at all?
I'll give them a game. I'll give them one game.
I'll give them both at home.
Both?
I think it goes 5.
Oof. Game 5 in the Trop. Then at that point,
you felt that atmosphere there. It is crazy in Boston. They are,
they are insane. They're fans. Animals there.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. No, I definitely give them 1. I mean, they're there for a reason. They did beat the Yankees. I mean, the Yankees are a good baseball team, and they did beat them pretty handedly. I think they do get a win over the Rays at least once. But there's just that lineup is so good. Nelson Cruz hitting one off the top of the dome, and just they're a fun team to watch. A mixture of like young with a couple of veterans. They're a fun team to watch.
But Tampa just has the pitching. Like, it just seems like whoever goes to Tampa Bay just becomes an elite relief pitcher. Like David Robertson's back there for somehow or whatever.
That's why, like, Tampa Bay never like releases anybody, I feel.
No, and once you trade with Tampa Bay, you're like, oh fuck. It's like they know something.
Yeah.
But it's just they have, once again, similar to the Dodgers, 3 to 4 capable closers in their bullpen who would be a shutdown, a ninth inning man for any other team, basically.
Yeah.
I think Tampa sweeps them.
I'll give them 4. I'll give them Rays 4. I think Boston, just that atmosphere there helps them to get at least a win, at least one win. I'm even leaning more towards 5-game series, but I'll go with 4.
Well, that wraps up the Division Series podcast. So we'll be back to talk about the Championship Series when those are underway. So make sure to stay tuned for that. We'll also have a Week 5 picks pod as well this week. And then we'll do a recap of Week 5 a little bit later in the week because I'm going to Baltimore this week for Monday Night Football between the Colts and Ravens. So, wow. Boy, that could be a mess again. Will depends on who plays and who doesn't play, which means probably no one on the Colts defense will play, but that's here nor there, and we'll talk about that in the NFL podcast. So Clark, when those come out, where people listen to it?
Yeah, subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Follow us on our social medias on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Sports Depth Pod. That's Sports DEPT Pod. I don't even know what we have coming up. NFL, like Justin said, is coming up.
NFL and baseball and maybe some NBA.
Yeah, basketball's right around the corner. Justin loves basketball.
I'm the one that's forced to do those podcasts, Jesse. Okay, I'm the one.
I'll jump on a little bit. I'll moderate and try to shut him up a little bit.
We'll jump on. That's a you and Jesse thing. That's your bonding experience. Yeah, you and Jesse.
Just some New York fans.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
No,
the Knicks are so bad.
In 6 months, when Josh is ready for a podcast, we'll do some hockey ones.
Let's do that hockey.
Maybe we do one for the fight on Saturday after. We'll see. I don't know.
Wilder?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'm just throwing stuff out my butt right now.
Cool.
I haven't did wrestling in a while. Maybe
that dying sport.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Sports. We'll see you in the next episode.
Oh.